did not quite look that way on the replay.
After review, the ruling on the field of a fumble and a recovery by the defense stands as called. Georgia plays a touchdown.
Touchdown Rams.
After the play,
So we've already seen 2 defensive touchdowns.
scoring team, number 34, that 15-yard penalty.
And there was a penalty in wake of that play for excessive celebration against Colorado State.
Well, you know that this defense and this football team overall is fired up. The defense didn't show its very best 2 weeks ago either, in addition to the offense. And the secondary in particular said, hey, we simplified our communications. We're going to be running and hunting this football. And you can see what that leads to in a scoop and score for 6.
Colorado State with a 7-point lead. Shedeur Sanders has shown great development games.
These are the kind
Break it down for us.
Yeah, these are the kind of things he's going to need to do in this football game. Win from the pocket first and foremost. Be able to manipulate defenders, post-snap with your eyes. Here it's middle of the field coverage. Get one-on-one on the outside. Throw the ball in rhythm and just drop it in there over the defender and just put it exactly where it needs to be put. As you saw, Colorado State has already got some pressure on him, especially off of his blind side. And here, you're going to see him escape out to his left, extend the play. Give the receivers time to work open, but keep your eyes down the field and protect the football while you're doing it. And here he does an excellent job. This is exactly what scouts in the NFL are looking for. You see there, he finds Xavier Weaver for the first down conversion. He's going to need to do all of that here tonight because I'm telling you, Colorado State's defense, their secondary in particular, knew that they needed to play sound fundamental defense against the hottest passer in college football. And on the offensive side, they know that they needed to produce explosive plays. This is going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Both of these teams can score.
He has made a meteoric rise up a lot of the draft boards. Guy that has played a lot of football. Started every game in high school for 2 years at Jackson State. SWAC Player of the Year a couple of times. He'll get another opportunity after this Edwards return. Edwards tripped up at about the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from there after the 22-yard return. Well, tomorrow the WNBA playoffs continue with a pair of game 2s. The best of 3 first round. 6 seed Minnesota taking on 3rd. Buffalo's facing some early adversity. Let's see how they react. 6:09 to go in the opening quarter. Sanders completes it. That's Weaver still on his feet. A couple of nice moves. Picks up about 5 on the play. About 6 along 6. 2nd down coming up. Weaver, the leading receiver coming into the ball game. Up at the line of scrimmage quickly. Hankerson on the carry. And he's going to be stopped up for a gain of about 1. Sets up a 3rd down. Hunter lined up to the top of your screen.
One of the things you're seeing out of Colorado State right now, getting a lot of defenders to the football. These guys are running and hitting.
Here's Hunter on the receiver screen. Makes the catch. Tried to apply the straight arm, brought down, but he picked up the 1st down at the 44-yard line, a pickup of 11, thus atoning for that fumble a moment ago.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Gatkuth was able to get Travis before he was able to break out into the open, because that might have been 6.
And an incomplete pass dropped by Jimmy Horn, was looking upfield a little bit. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
You almost get the feeling right now that Colorado is feeling a little unsettled, right? They're feeling like they're trying so hard. There was so much excitement, so much hype coming into this football game that they right now seem like they're pressing a little bit, almost like they need to calm down, make sure they're securing the football, catching the football, and just executing sound fundamentals.
Got to look at Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator, moment ago, downfield, incomplete, but a flag down intended for Hunter who took a shot afterwards by Henry Blackburn. And now some words, Shedeur Sanders coming to the aid of his number one target there.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, as a former safety, that's a very dumb play on the part of Henry Blackburn. I understand you may be trying to send a message, but that right there, the ball had already hit the ground. You see number 11, you see he's not even close to catching the football. I mean, he's already like gearing down, and the play's basically over.
That's a blatant penalty.
Yeah, that just makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's dumb football. I understand this is a rivalry and you're hyped up, but you're up. You're up by a touchdown. You guys are playing good football.
There are 2 fouls on the play by the defense. Both fouls will be enforced. Pass interference. Defense number 11. After the play. Whistle foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 15 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Let's take another look at both those penalties. The pass interference first there, and then the late hit by Henry Blackburn. And Hunter, who plays on both sides of the football, and Shedeur is letting Blackburn know about it. Yeah, look, got a little smoke for him after the play. You can understand that.
Look, if you're Colorado State, you just need to stay composed and play football. And if you're Colorado now, you've gotten some life now. You got the ball here inside the 30-yard line, execute.
And a little more incentive, too. This is Anthony Hankerson, the guy that brings a little bit more punch at tailback, picks up about 4. Yeah, Hankerson Howell making the stop.
Hankerson goes at just under 200 pounds, and you're right. He does bring more punch. A little bit better in pass protection than Dylan Edwards. A little bit more solid. A nice change of pace. And he's a guy who will slam it up in there. But I can tell you what, you can see Colorado State's secondary has come to play. They are trying to deliver big hits and have an intimidation factor about them.
Sanders with a clean pocket, gets rid of it. Pass complete once again to Hankerson. Brought down right near the line of scrimmage by Justin Sanchez. No gain on the play, and 3rd down coming up. And still no sight of Travis Hunter, who's still on the sidelines after taking that hit. They're going to go empty here. 5 receiver formation on 3rd down and 8. Sanders got a man. Touchdown. Clean. Weaver, the receiver. Well, revenge is a dish best served in the end zone.
This is just a coverage bust to the right side of your screen. You're going to see the flat defender does not carry that vertical and allow the corner time to overlap it in a 3-deep type of scheme. They made it look like they were coming with pressure. They dropped out, rushed with 4, covered with 7 in the back end, or covered with 6 in the back end, and then they just weren't in unison in the back end and didn't play good team defense. When you have holes like that in the back end against a team that is this fast on the perimeter, that's what happens. You give up 6 in a hurry.
Everybody talks about Colorado's lack of quote-unquote balance, Lewis, with their rushing game not quite on track, but they get it to their playmakers like they did here.
You're going to see it right here. You're going to see the flat defenders shoot right out here and allow Xavier to just go vertical up the seam and does not give the corner any time to get over the top. And you see right there, Shedeur notices it immediately and just puts it on him quick before the corner's able to recover. You have to protect your guys. You have to work in unison with one another, especially when they spread you out horizontally across the field like that. You can't give guys like this free releases and let them go uncovered.
We got a lot of stars in the building tonight, and Q's with one of them with his Ric Flair drip offset. It's my favorite track, Q.
Yeah, well, it's your favorite track, Mark. I got to tell you, these benches are tight, and you're practically on the field tonight. How do you best describe the scene here in Boulder?
It's so much excitement, so much fan love. I just love the energy in the building. I feel like it's a good game, but we're going to win.
You were in the locker room earlier. What was it like to mingle with Coach Prime and his team?
And the locker room was so iconic. It's nothing like I never, because he got a DJ playing music, and it's like, I feel like he get them ready and make it a good thing and be in the vibe.
Ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. That's a fumble.
Fumble, baby. Let's go. That's our ball. But yeah,
That ball's on the turf, and now here we go. These teams have been going at it all week.
Wow.
Started on Wednesday with head coach Jay Norvell.
They throw
You got your sunglasses. You got your hoodie on. Take off your hat, and it has continued all through this game.
Wow, they are.
Offset, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. Great to see you here.
thank you. Y'all make sure y'all go get my new single, Fan, album October 13th. I love y'all.
The Fan on October 13th.
I got it. Well, the beat goes on in this cantankerous and contentious rivalry. You saw a lot of action after the whistle a moment ago. What a hit. What a hit, Lewis.
That's the kicker, Jace Feely.
Okay.
Who's trailing. He's trailing the action, and he's coming down there and saying, hey, look, I want some of this. I want to get in on this rivalry.
You ever known a kicker to get in the mix like that?
Actually, you know, I've known a couple who like to mix it up a little bit. And you see here emotions.
They're throwing hands down there.
Result of the play is a fumble and recovered by the receiving team. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 13 of the receiving team. Number 11 of the kicking team. These penalties were offset. First down.
They literally offset, just like the guy that Q just interviewed. My man in the house, boy, you talk about a constellation of stars on the sidelines here. We saw The Rock, we saw Wheezy, Tunch, we saw Key Glock was down there. We saw The Rock.
There is a
Who am I missing, Lewis?
Hey, there's a lot of star power, and there's a lot of action on the field. These young men are pumped up. There's some big hits, turnovers, pick sixes. We've got it all.
Blitz coming off the edge. They picked it up, and Horton underneath with the catch. And he's going to tiptoe out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Not to mention a couple of NBA champions in the building as well. Chauncey Billups, who played basketball here at Colorado, and Kyle Lowry of the Miami Heat in attendance. 12-yard gain, 1st and 10. We got a timeout called by the Buffaloes. A couple of champions in the building. Chauncey had a very prolific career here at Colorado, now the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Everybody's interested.
It's different. The flavor is different here in Colorado from a program that went 1-11 a season ago. Coach Prime has alchemized a moribund program and football consciousness and made it special here.
Yeah, look, and he has captured the attention of a lot of people who are curious about how he is going about building this program, and they do believe that this has staying power, and it does. When you talk to Coach Prime about what his plans are, let me emphasize again, he has a great staff that he has put together. He knows exactly what his football team has and what it doesn't have, and he's not delusional about the fact that they're not there yet,
right
where he needs them. He said, look, I need about 6 or 7 more dogs, and then I'll be ready to roll. But this is a team that is coached well, they play hard, and this is just the beginning.
Wow, and another flag. Savion Henderson, the left tackle, moved prematurely there.
False start. Number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
7th penalty, Lewis.
Yeah, it is. That is a lot of penalties. That's something that's not going to sit well with Coach Prime. But just look at the star power on this staff here. When you're talking about Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator, Charles Kelly comes over from Alabama, very highly respected. You have guys like Sal Sinceri down there at the bottom of the screen who also coached at Alabama, the defensive tackles. Kevin Mathis, a former player at corner in the league, in the NFL. A lot of football intellect on this roster.
Tons. Horton out to the 42-yard line, picked up 4 on the play. Q?
You're looking at disruptive innovation. And it's a business term, and Coach Prime is doing that. And one thing that stood out being here for the spring game, Lewis mentioned this organization that he's put together, okay? Quality people People see the bling, they see the hype. Behind the scenes, nobody's working as hard as this team and this staff.
Tremendous alignment amongst the staff. Vertical and horizontal. Nowhere to go that time for Avery Morrow. Picked up a yard on the play. Silman Craig making the tackle. Silman Craig, of course, had a pick last week against Nebraska. Looking at 3rd down and long coming up. They've got to get to the 47 of the Buffaloes.
See, Jay Norvell has kind of found a nice little rhythm as far as his play calling. Trying to emphasize the run, short passing game, taking the shots over the top, pulling out some trick plays.
And another penalty.
Ball start. Number 68 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And you can see Coach Norvell saying, pump the brakes, calm down a little bit, but can't keep it up at this pace. You're moving the wrong way.
Yeah, for as many big plays as we've had, as much excitement as this game has already produced, there have been some lapses in terms of communication and focus. It's made this game feel a little uneven at this point. Big plays with some sloppy football. Once they settle in, we're going to have a good football game here.
Lewis Travis Hunter's back in the ball game. Covering at the top of your screen against Horton. Nicolosi looking the other way, under duress, and runs out of bounds at about the 35. Dogged pursuit that time, defensively by that Colorado front. And it's going to set up a 4th down, so the Buffaloes defense able to get off the field. And as we look at Coach Jay Norvell, interesting comments in our meeting with him earlier this week. He let his kids know the importance of this rivalry. He has some 20-odd players from the state on his team, but what was really important for him, he said he was proud to be part of the first time ever in this rivalry where they had 2 black head coaches.
I mean, look, that is historic. That is something that makes people stand up and take notice, which made his comments concerning Deion wearing a hat and wearing sunglasses all the more puzzling and all the more troubling for people, because he did express that to us about the importance of that and how proud he was of the fact that 2 black head coaches were playing in this rivalry. And then when you said that and you make that comment, you open yourself up to all kinds of speculation, criticism, and it really just motivated Coach Prime to the degree where you could tell it bothered him. But now it's about playing the game, and both of these teams have come out to play.
Q?
Well, I think there was confusion this week when Coach Norvell's comments, they were directed at his team, and he was just trying to teach them how they handle their business. I don't think it was a swipe at Coach Prime. He's got a lot of respect for Coach Prime.
He said immediately, Coach Prime's got a lot of critics. I'm not one of them. Busting through the hole, Dylan Edwards lacerating that defensive front for a gain of 10. Under a minute to go here in the opening quarter. 28 points on the board already. Sanders gets it out quick. Edwards brought down at the 30. Anaseum making the tackle on the play, no gain. Clock running with 35 seconds to go. Lewis, you intimated when we were down the field, it was going to be a shootout. We got 28 points.
No doubt about it. Look, one of the things you're seeing, though, is on the part of Colorado State, they are making tackles in the open field. Not a whole lot of yardage after the catch. They're getting a lot of hats to the ball.
Right.
And trying to limit some of these run after the catch type of scenarios, which was very important considering how poor they were week 1.
Jimmy Horn on that catch. Season. 14 seconds to go. Ball at the 36. 6-yard gain on previous play. 3rd and 4 for Shadur. Down the middle. Almost intercepted at midfield by the Rams defensively. And that's going to do it for the end of the first quarter, but good pressure by Kamara. It's a rivalry, so you would expect there would be a little bit of enmity, animosity, and hostility. It's just the beginning. We got 45 minutes of this to go, folks. Back after this.
Hey, man, we got a good game on our hands, man. We to the channel. Make sure y'all
It's our most tender cuts of steak, grilled and seasoned with cumin, oregano, and coriander. Finished with fresh lime and hand-chopped cilantro. Carne asada. This is our best steak ever.
The one thing we can never get more of is time. Or can we? This is Watson X Orchestrate, AI designed to multiply productivity by automating tasks. When you Watson X your business, you can build digital skills to help human resources spend less time generating offer letters, writing job recs, and managing schedules, and spend more time on humans. Let's create more time for your
Who's the cheesiest? I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
Let me be direct. You're watching football wrong. What do you call a guy in face paint that can't get the game? A clown.
Sorry, what app was it again? No. Just give me a second.
Amateurs.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
DirecTV Sports Central gives you access to every game. So you never have to compromise on game day.
Was that necessary?
I was just illustrating the point.
Access NFL Sunday Ticket on us. Get a $400 reward card.
Okay.
Not you eating on your daddy's white carpet.
Cut the bulljoke and give me one of the wings. Get 8 of KFC's new hot and spicy wings for only $4.99.
Hey, all my sneakerheads out there, man. Again, like I said, I wait till.
Geico and the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week, which has brought out The Rock and a whole lot more. Fourth down coming up for the Buffaloes, forced to punt. Tied at 14 as we begin the second quarter. Torrey Horton back at his own 15, watches it bounce. Gets out of the way, and it caroms down to the 17-yard line. And another flag. $47-yard punt. Let's see what the flag's about here.
Illegal formation, kicking team. 5-yard penalty, replay fourth down.
So we're going to punt it again. I guess if you're talking about, these two teams, it's still early. Sometimes some early season issues will show up and be manifested in special teams, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure. Look,
I'm just looking for an out, Louis.
No,
It's been sloppy so
no,
far.
it has. It really has. I mean, there's been a lot of action, but when you have emotions get involved,
Right.
players start making alignment errors, assignment errors, technique errors. Then they start making judgment errors as far as too much aggression after the whistle, outside the rule book.
12 penalties.
But they'll calm down. This will turn into a football game. It already is a good football game.
Great punt. Horton back at the 14, still on his feet. And a moment ago, Quick caught up with Coach Jay Norvell.
Coach, what's got your undivided attention right now?
We just keep our poise. It's a rivalry. It's a real passionate game. Kids are playing hard. I mean, we got to overcome these penalties. I mean, I've never seen so many penalties called on one team in my life.
It's gone beyond hard. I mean, it's kind of chippy. How do you describe it?
No, it's a rivalry game. It's supposed to be that way. But we have to play with poise. We talked about playing with poise, one play at a time, and being persistent. And that's what we got to do.
Thank you.
Lewis, in your do's and don'ts, you said that this offense for the Rams could not be conservative. They have not been so far,
They
right?
sure haven't. Look, they have started to threaten all three levels of the defense, short, intermediate, and long.
First charge timeout, Colorado State.
They are.
Wow. So we get a timeout called. This game.
There's magic rocks, wild animals, techno, and rivalries that go back decades. This story has everything. Want to hear it?
Oh, hello. Hi. Did you know that every load of laundry could be worth as much as $300?
Really?
And your clothes just keep getting more damaged the more times you...
Everyone to Boulder, Colorado, tied at 14. One play into the second quarter. Mark Jones chopping it up with Lewis Riddick. Quinn Kesnick down in the field. The Rams have withstood that early kind of surge by the Buffaloes, and despite the fact they're prohibitive underdogs, doing well so far.
Yeah, they sure are. Look, they are producing explosive plays. The penalties notwithstanding, they are kind of playing the game that they wanted to play, in particular on defense, where they are making Shedeur Sanders uncomfortable. They've gotten after him in the pass game. And here, now that they got the ball back on offense, continue to make sure that Colorado has to defend every blade of grass.
Kobe Johnson on the carry for the Rams, picked up 3 on the play. Johnson had a career-high 206 a couple of years ago while playing at North Dakota State, native of Lawrenceville, Georgia. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Travis Hunter matched up, Lewis, against Horton at the bottom of the screen as we go wide here. One of the great matchups of the night.
It sure is. 2 of the best athletes on the field. And you can see Colorado State has moved Torrey Horton all over the place. Moved him in the slot, outside at the X, at the Z. He's thrown a touchdown already in this game.
Nicolosi over the middle, caught, and great open field tackling that time by Mitchell again, who has been ubiquitous. He has been all over the field for the Buffaloes defensively. Good hit on Ross Simmons.
Yeah, that's just great vision in zone coverage. You see him just drop to the middle of the field. They're playing this kind of a 3D type of coverage, and he just drives downhill and makes a short tackle there in the open field against a wide receiver, which is not easy to do. But Juwan Mitchell is someone who they have said has raised the level of their linebacker play here early in this season.
On 3rd and 7, Nicolosi gets it out, but it's incomplete. Tried to go and work on Hunter. Holker, the intended receiver, and it's 4th down. And the Rams will have to punt.
It's a nice job by Colorado of just playing a cover 2 scheme. Just got to it a little bit differently, dropped an end out of there to kind of give Nicolosi a little bit of a different look, and you can just see they're talking to him there down there on the sideline. Hey, look, just throw the ball out of bounds. Let's make sure that we don't have any turnovers. We'll punt the ball away.
Matt Mummy, the quarterback's coach. Fair catch called at the 38-yard line. Weaver there.
ingredients, okay? Let's get them ingredients. We got tinfoil, right? We get groceries. DoorDash.
You can feel it. A force that moves everything around it. That comes from deep down inside. Full-time fans, your passion is unshakable. And you deserve a reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Colorado State defensive pressure. We said they couldn't allow Shedeur Sanders to get comfortable in this game. They had to hit him. And Muhammad Kamara was going to be the guy who had to exert his influence on this game and beat these offensive tackles. And you see, Shedeur looks like he's a little bit rattled so far in this game. He's been hit more in this game early on off of just pure four-man pressures than he probably has all season long. And if you're Colorado State, you got to just keep it up.
They run a little twist up front. Sanders, there's a flag down. Sanders brought down at about the 48-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play if it stands. Mejia Pastor making the tackle on the play. Here's the call.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 65 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Let's take another look. It's going to go against the Buffaloes.
And you're going to see Tony Pierce. You're going to see him looping back inside. And then you're going to see the left guard Bailey. You're going to see him at the end right there. He grabs it because he feels the defender getting away from him as Shedeur's trying to escape out to his left.
Sets up a 1st and 25. Shedeur Sanders has always been a picture of poise. Very precise in his calculations. Underneath to Edwards. And that's going to be a loss of about a yard. Q has more.
Yes, Shedeur has uncommon poise and maturity. In fact, he's nicknamed Grown by his dad, Coach Prime, when he was a kid, just because he was like a grown-up at an early age. When I see Shedeur play now after transferring from Jackson State, I see improvement. He's got a lot of reps in high school, a lot of reps in college, and you think about that 10,000 hours, that's kind of kicking in right now. And certainly this young man, nicknamed Grown, doesn't shrink from the big stage.
He completes the pass, Q to Edwards on the edge, out of bounds at about the 30. You know, Coach Prime was telling us he actually has Grown written in not just one phone, but 3 different phones that he has.
Yeah, what's interesting about the man that they call Grown is that he's been doing this, though, his entire career in college. It started at Jackson State. It's just a bigger stage now. This is a guy who is uniquely qualified and skilled at the quarterback position, and he'll show that here tonight.
Using his legs here, escapes, lunging forward to about the 43-yard line, and there's an injured player. It's Kamara, their most dynamic pass rusher so far tonight. And he's favoring that right leg. Boy, you hate to see that. As much of a disruptor as he has been tonight for Colorado State. Some stellar numbers throughout his career. Back after this.
The interview you prepared for?
What are those called again? Oh, right. The Home Depot app is made for doing that doesn't miss a beat. So you can find what you need fast and keep things moving in the right direction. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
We're all about the WNBA playoffs.
Coach Prime on the sidelines. First-year head coach at Colorado. Fourth down coming up. And the Buffaloes ready to punt. Kamara, meanwhile, able to walk off the field under his own power during the commercial break. The punt comes down to Horton. First and 10 from there. Let's go back and take a look at Shedeur Sanders at Jackson State.
These are some of the things that you've seen already in this 2023 season here on the P5 level that you saw when he was down at Jackson State. The ability to throw the football with accuracy outside the numbers down the field. Break, contain, make plays with his legs. He can make plays rolling to his right, rolling to his left. But he's been doing it his entire career, and he has continued to improve each and every season that he has played. And he has played a lot of football, as we've already alluded to. It's just on a bigger stage now. It's just on a bigger stage.
Dion says that of his 3 children, Shedeur has spent the most time with him. Sensed his maturity at an early age. Cut north-south by Avery Morrow. And Morrow picked up about 6 on first down. Lewis, talk to me about this Colorado defense. So much focus on their offense. How does their defense be impactful here today?
I think what they need to do for sure is just make sure that as Colorado State continues to try and push the ball down the field, that they limit those explosives. That's what defensive coordinator Charles Kelly said was paramount.
Couldn't stop that pass. Boy, good throw by Nicolosi into Lewis Brown, the 4th. Who had 4 catches for 35 yards on the season. Picked up 12.
You're going to see Lewis Brown come across your screen here. And this is great location by Braden Fowler Nicolosi to kind of get his shoulders turned, throw it back across his body with accuracy. These crossing routes he's been accurate on so far in this game.
Keeps it this time on the RPO and slides at about the 33. They're staring down Amarian Cooper.
He knows.
Great discernment that time by the quarterback. He wants to last.
I was going to say, he knows what he's here for. He knows they're not going to win the game doing this. He just needs to make good decisions. Again, be the point guard. No more turnovers. Be efficient. Move the chains.
Norvell says, I need a quarterback who can compete and lead. This time, he hands it off to Morrow. Stopped up near the line of scrimmage by McNeil. Now we're looking at third down coming up from the 33 for the Rams.
These are those crucial situations that you need to get off the field if you're Colorado, give good field position to your offense that has had kind of a choppy game so far. And you can best believe Coach Prime, as someone who flipped the field on his own many times during his NFL career, has made this a point of emphasis.
Hunter matched up against Horton at the bottom of your screen. Nicolosi with time, throws a dart complete to Brown, who picks up the first down. The Rams move the chains down to the 44-yard line of the Buffaloes. A pickup of 23, and what a laser thrown by Nicolosi.
Really what this was just a simulated pressure. They're playing a cover 2 still in the back end, but you see Nicolosi just find the zone holes, find the zone voids. Lewis Brown continues to make catch after catch.
First and 10. Nicolosi stepped out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Nicolosi played a lot as a true freshman a season ago for Colorado State. Won a big game for them on the road at Nevada. Going into the 2-minute drill late and pushing the ball down the field and scoring a critical touchdown to win that game. Guy that coming out of high school had offers from Oregon State, Arizona, and several other Power 5 schools.
You can see he's really going to work on the second level, the linebacker level of the Colorado defense, where if you study their tape at the beginning of the season, they've given up some plays. They've had some miscommunications.
Hands it off.
Calling timeout.
Did they call a timeout first?
Second charge timeout, Colorado State.
So they burned their second one. With the ball when we come back. 8:09 to go in the first half.
Watson X Your Business, you can build AI to help coders code faster, customer service respond quicker, and employees handle repetitive tasks in less time. Let's create AI that transforms business with Watson X. IBM, let's create.
Football is back. Got your new fantasy team name? Check. Grill? Check. Fancy Grill? Check. Troy and Joe? Check. Bro and Bro? Check. All the emotions? All season long? Check, baby.
Supreme as a look. Being a wizard was justice and worthy. That's all it took. To buff foes, he was the enemy. To buff fans, he was the enemy. Familiar with the name Westbrook? Not a Russell, but a Michael that left them shook. Rashawn's Heisman definitely ran the cycle. A Buffs icon, that engine wasn't idle. Cordell's smile wasn't brash. It was money, straight cash. Pass complete underneath to Horton. Pushed out of bounds at the 39. So many luminaries have made a procession through the years here at Folsom Field. This is a very storied program. When you go back to the 90s, I remember doing games. Alfred Williams, Canavis McGee, Cordell Stewart, Westbrook, so many more too.
No question. They were synonymous with challenging for supremacy in college football.
Yes.
And they constantly, were a pipeline to the pros for some very good players at all kinds of different positions. Coach Prime is trying to reestablish that.
Nicolosi completes it. Down to the 33, and that's going to be a first down. Lewis Brown, one of his favorite targets tonight, a 6-yard gain on the play. And so far, Lewis, you would have to say that Braden Fowler, Nicolosi, has shown, outside of that one pick six, a big asterisk, he has shown a lot of poise.
He sure has. He's doing exactly what Jay Norvell wants him to do. Get the ball to Horton. Get the ball to Lewis Brown. Make smart decisions. Don't stare down receivers and not pay attention to what the coverage is like he did on the pick six. And he's corrected that.
Over the middle complete with a head of steam. Ross Simmons Pushed out of bounds near the 15-yard line. And that's another Colorado State first down. They are moving the chains.
You see here, this time it's Justice Ross Simmons coming across the formation, just catching the ball on the run. Good yards after the catch. This is a very efficient drive on the part of Colorado State.
He had a 75-yard touchdown catch a couple of weeks ago from Nicolosi. Clean pocket underneath Horton. Oh, what a great move. Down to the 10-yard line. Picked up about 6 on the play. He shook Shiloh Sanders.
I'm telling you, look, man, Torrey Horton is a baller. This is a guy who can beat you deep. He can run after the catch, make you miss, make you look silly. He can play the X, the Z, which is the split end or the flanker. He can move inside, play the slot. And as he's already shown, he can throw the football. So they're trying to get it to him in every which way possible.
They're going to hand it off this time between the tackles down to the 7-yard line. Morrow that time. 3-yard gain. 13th play of the drive coming up for Colorado State. 3rd down and 1.
I think if you're Coach Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, you're going to have your guys playing with better vision against these zone beaters, against these underneath routes that they've been running.
They run it again. They're going to be stopped up, but it's going to be a first down and goal to go. Avery Morrow picked up 3 yards.
I mean, right now, you need a guy on Colorado's defense of the type that Dion said that they're a couple players away, 7 in particular, to make a play. You need a pass rusher. You need one of these corners, one of these linebackers to come up with a game-changing or a drive-changing, drive-killing type of play. Because right now, Colorado State is in a nice rhythm.
That offensive line doing a nice job up front. Nicolosi completes it. Flag down. No signal. They're going to mark it short of the end zone. But there's a flag down on the play. That was Holker.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Number 68 offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down.
They're going to move it back all the way near the 20. Drew Moss, number 68. You know, speaking of that offensive line, which has done well on this drive, 12 new offensive linemen into the program this year. The Rams hit the portal pretty well as well.
Yeah, they look, it's the quickest way right now, especially if you can get them all up to speed and get them all playing in unison, regardless of position. It's the quickest way to improve your football team, especially if you can pick the right kind of quality players that fit your scheme. And it's something more and more coaches are going to have to embrace.
First and goal from the 19. Holker in motion. Nicolosi under duress, got it off to Horton. Put his foot in the ground and lunges forward to the 15-yard line. Picked up 4. It'll be second and goal from there.
That's just a nice job.
He makes you hold your breath.
Yeah, he sure is. I'll tell you what, he can make the spectacular play after the catch. But I was just going to say, look, Fowler Nicolosi is doing a nice job now of understanding, look, that time they rushed with 3, dropped with 8. You're not going to be able to push the ball down the field or into the end zone. Just throw it underneath and let your playmaker run with it. He's making the smart decisions on this drive after that pick 6. He learned.
Nicolosi on the slant. Complete touchdown. Brown. And it looked like he was hitting the Dion and looked at his wrist and said, I got some time today. Colorado State up by 6. Behind the unshakable arm and poise of Braden Fowler Nicolosi. They lead by 7 now. 4:08 to go in the first half.
This is nice play design. Watch Lewis Brown right here. You see the safety drop down, safety go to the middle of the field. Watch him make a slight angle inside and then just take it up the seam, and you don't get any carry. The safety can't get over the top, and then you just find the zone void. Watch him. You see it. He just takes it vertical. Nicolosi puts it right on him. Trevor Woods can't get over there on time. Perfect cover 3 type of beater when you have a safety in the middle of the field, especially if you don't get those inside defenders cushioning and carrying those verticals on the inside to help the middle of the field safety. That's just great scouting on the part of Jay Norvell and the offensive coaching staff, understanding what the tendencies are for Colorado's defense and dialing up the perfect play call, perfect execution.
Nicolosi is connected on his last 8 passes in a row, and to rub some salt into the wound, Brown hit the Dion dance and then made the watch move, which Shedeur did at midfield last week prior to the Nebraska game. Yeah, he's got time today.
Hey, look, give them their credit. They are scheming up this Colorado defense. They are keeping them off balance. We know that Colorado still needs reinforcements on that side of the football. And on the defensive side, Colorado State has played pretty well, and Shedeur Sanders is now going to have to really respond.
Let's go back to the studio.
Hey, coming up on the Dish Halftime Report, Sam Acho is going to join me. We'll get his thoughts on what's been a wild first half, plus a wild day in the SEC, including a stunner in the Swamp and major quarterback questions at Alabama, plus Acho Mind, the plays that made Sam nearly lose his, coming up when you join us for the Dish Halftime Report.
All right, back here, 1st and 10 from the 25. Shedeur Sanders has connected on 6 of his last 7 passes. See what they get done on this drive. Little receiver screen complete to Weaver into the boundary and stopped up for a short gain. Not even a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd down. Travis Hunter is going to stay on the field. Still playing both ways. Lined up to the bottom of your screen. There he is, number 12. Been conspicuous by his silence today outside of that fumble that he had, which was recovered for a Colorado State score. Sanders, Kamara, got him by the ankle and took him down at the 14. Mohamed Kamara, who was shaken up a moment ago, makes it 3rd down and long.
I mean, just watch Mohamed Kamara right here. Really just go speed to power. You see there, he's going with speed. He's trying to work the high side, and then he just decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to get too deep on my rush. I'm just going to convert this to a power rush. I'm going to run the tackle over and get the sack. That guy will be playing on Sundays, folks. Remember the name, Mohamed Kamara.
Right now, a game wrecker. Sanders gets it out quickly. They set up the screen, and nowhere to go for Jimmy Horn. The Rams defense intransigent. 3 and out. And it's punting time again.
They're gaining confidence, Mark. They're gaining confidence with every single snap. And you're going to have, in order to break their confidence, you need to get over the top on this team. You need to produce a big play, because this Dinkin and Duncan right now, although it may be out of necessity, I'm telling you, Colorado State's defense is starting to feel like, hey, they can't move the ball on us. We got it.
Almost blocked. They came after it. Bassett got it off. It's interesting. It's 21-14, Louis Riddick, and a distinct difference in the charge in the building from the kickoff to where we are now. How do we get to this place?
Yeah, what has happened is you've just seen the efficiency of Colorado State's offense really start to pick up. On the defensive side, despite the fact that they gave up one explosive for a touchdown early, they have really settled down, and they have gotten a beat on what Colorado is trying to do to them as far as their perimeter screen game, the short passing game. And when they throw those kind of routes, they are running to the football, and they are putting big hits on these Colorado wide receivers. And as that goes on, and they continue to not give up big plays, they're going to gain confidence, because you know what else is happening? guys like Muhammad Kamara are getting after this offensive line for Colorado and putting heat on Shedeur Sanders, which we said was going to be a key.
On 1st and 10, they're going to keep it on the ground. Kobe Johnson as we go down to Q.
And the impact down on Folsom Field is a little hush, a little low. A lot of people came here to celebrate, to see this Buffs team perform. You got all the celebs, and suddenly there's no rhythm, there's no flow. This place is quiet. This place is a little shocked right now.
And here's one of the reasons, Quint. Horton and Nicolosi, that dynamic, imperious combination, teaming up for 6 yards.
Look, Jay Norvell continues to be satisfied with taking the underneath routes and letting his receivers catch and run, especially if Colorado is going to play this too high shell, keep everything in front, don't give up the explosives. It's going to be like death by 1,000 cuts.
Nicolosi underneath. Holker, the transfer from BYU, picks up a first down at the 46 on an 8-yard gain. This is uncharted territory. We talked about the mood in the fans. A student we spoke with said, we don't know how to act. This is all new to us. Even Coach Prime himself says, a lot of this is new to me. You have to understand. And when they asked him about the rivalry, he openly admitted that he's still catching up on some of the historical finer points of this. But he's staying in the moment.
No question. You can tell by his body language over there right now. Oh, he's in the moment, all right.
Yeah.
And he's going to have some words, especially for his back end, for the back seven, as far as challenging these wide receivers and not letting them just catch the ball in open space and catch and run. I promise you he's going to want them to challenge these receivers more, because right now they can't get off the field.
Nicolosi with all day to toss it into traffic. Flag down, and it's caught at the 3 by Ross Simmons. Miraculously, but will it stand? There's a flag back at the 39.
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That one stings if you're Colorado State.
Yeah, you can see the center, Jacob Gardner, right here. He just starts to lose control of the rush, and you're going to see he just yanks him down to the ground. He feels himself getting pulled, and one of the quickest ways sometimes offensive linemen try to stop that is, I'll just snatch you and pull you down to the ground. He got caught.
That's how you fix it up.
Yeah.
50 seconds to go. Nicolosi completing 15 of his last 17. No pressure. Delivers incomplete. Holker ran out of real estate. It's been a long night so far. Somewhat underwhelming if you're a Buffaloes fan. 2nd down and 20 coming up. Colorado went down to TCU and won in game 1 on the road against the team that played for the championship last year, and then last week here at home against Nebraska. We're able to take down the Huskers. But this is a rivalry game. Johnson got to the corner, put those pads north-south, and another piece of linen on the field. Another flag.
Yeah, this is going to be a late hit personal foul penalty on the right guard, Andrew Cannon. You can just see after the play is basically over, he just takes a cheap shot at a Colorado defender, which is just going to drive Coach Norvell up a wall because it's just unnecessary.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 66 of the offense, 15-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
I'm counting unofficially, but close, 5 personal fouls.
You see him right here. Look, I mean, this is just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I understand it's a rivalry game. I played in plenty of them. I understand the emotions run high. I'm an emotional guy. But that's the kind of thing you can't do, especially when you come in here and you kind of put a hush over this crowd when everyone expected you maybe to get run out of this stadium with the way Colorado had been playing. Just continue to be smart. Your quarterback has already thrown for almost 200 yards in the first half.
Nicolosi putting some money on tape. 2nd and 28. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Well, kick off your week 2 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific with Countdown Crew, ESPN and the app. They'll look at what life after Aaron Rodgers means for the Jets as they prepare to take on Dallas, plus interviews with Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, as well as inside story of the comeback that unfolded in the Packers bar last week. Those stories, a lot more. It's Bishop Thomas that got his hand on that last pass attempt. That might be the most conservative play we've seen of the night, right, Lewis? Kobe Johnson on 3rd and 28.
Yeah, I think if you're Jay Norvell, you're just like, let me just punt this ball before we do something that's really going to put us in a bind.
Jay Norvell said that in our meeting, he said, we are ready for our breakthrough. They had a bye week. They switched up their program. They moved their practices from daytime to the evening and then got back on schedule game week. And he was able to make the requisite tweaks offensively and defensively. And so far, you'd have to say that it's all paid off. He said, we're going to have to score 34 points to win this game. I found that really interesting. And Lewis, right now, they've passed that pace.
Yeah, they sure have. And considering the fact that the Colorado State offense never hit 20 points at all last year, that's amazing considering what his aspirations were as far as trying to score in this football game. But he said, look, we coached them hard during the bye week. We repeated every play that wasn't done exactly perfect. He really instituted a high level of accountability. Although they have accountability all the time, they wanted perfection during that bye week. And so far, it's paying off as far as the practice plan.
Here's the punt, end over end. Weaver back to try and field it. It dribbles out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it at about the 34. First down and 10. Colorado down by 7. Well, the night began with a whole bunch of sideline pyrotechnics. Key Glock, one of the top rappers in the game. Master P making him say, Offset, who Quint spoke with a moment ago, and a couple of NBA champions watching from up top. Dwayne Johnson has been here for a couple of days. You would think that they've handled a lot of the attention well, but they didn't handle the pressure from the front rush. And look who's there. Kamara again. He has been irrepressible up front tonight. That's his second sack of the evening. And Coach Prime has some buttons to press inside that locker room, Lewis.
You're going to see Kamara lined up here. Defensive coordinator Freddie Banks said, look, you're going to see him all over the place. Defensive end, defensive tackle, 2-point, 3-point. And you see there, the little jet stunt inside, pressure right down the middle.
Let's go down to Quinn.
Coach, what's the biggest challenge that they're presenting towards your defense?
Forget the defense. We got to move the darn football. I mean, we're not doing anything to move the football to get the defense off the field. Honestly, I made a trick play and that fumble recovery for a touchdown. That's been their explosive plays, but we got to do more offensively to keep the defense off the field.
It's been choppy. There's been a lot of penalties. There's been no flow or rhythm offensively. How do you find that?
We got to fix that. It's in there. We got to fix that right here at halftime.
What's got to be fixed?
I'm going to address all of it.
Thank you, Coach. There we go. Nice.
Hey, the fix-it man is on the JOB. His team down by a touchdown. The Buffaloes have won the last 4 in this rivalry as we go back to the studio.
We expected Hagler Hearns. Colorado State has taken the Buffs' best shot. Dish halftime report with Sam Acho, Kevin Connors. A stunner in the swamp. Trevor Etienne, part of a gigantic game.
We know this Florida offense wants to be a run-first team. They started early and they continued all throughout.
172 yards on the ground for the younger bro of the Jag star, Travis Etienne. The Gators had 3 rushing touchdowns.
And it's the two-headed monster, Montrell Johnson, as well, in that backfield, making huge plays for his team.
Johnson also caught a touchdown pass. Tennessee committed 10 penalties. It is the biggest win of the Billy Napier era. The party is on in Gainesville. 29-16 Florida beats Tennessee. Alabama, USF. Tyler Buckner getting the start. Sam, he was 5 of 14 for 73 yards.
He struggled early. They made a quarterback change to Ty Simpson. Simpson struggled as well. That was their third quarterback in 2 games.
Simpson came on 5 of 9 for just 34 yards. Finally, a big play, this one going to C.J. Dupree. And then later in the drive, you wanted the offense. It really came in the form of Roydell Williams.
Roydell Williams was the really only offense for Alabama. Quarterback struggled. Defense didn't play great, but they finally found a way to break through.
Who needs to start a quarterback next week?
I think it needs to go back to Jalen Milroe. He struggled last week, but neither of the 2 quarterbacks today really showed huge signs of improvement.
They'll host Ole Miss next Saturday. Program record, 19-game win streak on the line for number 1 Georgia. South Carolina led 14-3.
They came out swinging early. Number 1, it was trick plays, then it was missed tackles by the Georgia defense.
But the Dogs would get back into the game. Whatever Kirby Smart said at halftime worked. Dylan Bell, the touchdown run. What did the Dogs show you in that second half?
They showed me resilience. First half, they struggled. Second half, they came out and looked like the Georgia Bulldogs of old.
Cash Jones, Cash Money, the touchdown run. Dejon Edwards had 118 yards in his season debut on the ground. And that defense held the Gamecocks scoreless in the second half.
Georgia defense and special teams has what's been having this team find ways to win.
24-14, the Dogs win. The Dish halftime report with Texas Hall of Famer Sam Acho, Kevin Connors here in studio. So much emotion, so much energy around our game. How would you describe the way the teams handled it?
I don't think they handled it very well, to be honest. You saw Colorado State have 8 penalties for 88 yards. You saw Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado offense not look how they've looked all season long. There's so much energy and emotion in a rivalry game like this, and sometimes you let all that energy out and it gets a little bit extra, but then you always revert back to the mean and go back to playing football. We're finally at the second quarter seeing football be played, not the other games, off the field.
Okay, so what adjustments can be made? What adjustments need to be made by both teams?
Well, specifically with Colorado State, they've been playing outstanding. This is better than they played in week 1 against Washington State, better than they played last year. Now, Colorado, they're a second half team. Statistically speaking, they perform much better in second halves than they do in first halves. And so you have to get your playmakers the ball in space. Xavier Weaver needs to get targeted more. Travis Hunter, obviously had the early fumble, get him in space. But Colorado State, you have to give kudos to their game plan. They spent this off week game planning for Colorado, and it looks outstanding.
Rams have had a tremendous advantage in time of possession, only 6 first downs in that first half for Colorado. But it's been a lot of fun. And we'll continue on in the Dish halftime report. Keep it in the Pac-12. Another masterpiece from Oregon. Colorado's going to see them next, plus Washington in East Lansing rolling over a reeling Spartans program. That's coming up next.
touchdown, but more than that, he had 2 different receivers over 100 yards in the first half, one at 96.
4 TD strikes, like Sam said, for Penix, 3 of them to Jake Westover, 41-7, and it wasn't even that close. Colorado heads to Eugene next week. 2 more TD runs for Jordan James.
And this Oregon team is resilient. Last week, they beat a Texas Tech team that was hungry. This week, they get Hawaii. Next